On this week's FYI, your messages to world leaders about tackling climate change.
We need to introduce more eco-friendly inventions.
And I get to talk to actress Ariana DeBose about her latest movie.
I just walked into it and let myself be really free.
Hello, this is FYI, your weekly guide to everything that's going on in the world right now.
And this week, we're starting in Dubai.
World leaders are getting ready to head there for an important meeting about climate change called COP28.
The conference happens every year, and it's an opportunity for countries to work together to try and come up with ways of tackling the climate crisis.
This year, King Charles will give the opening speech, and it's likely he'll call for more action to protect our planet. So what would you say to world leaders if you had the chance? Well, here on FYI, we like to make sure that you get your shout.
My message to world leaders is that we need to clear more space for animals.
Try and stop climate change. We wouldn't be able to survive on this planet.
Encourage people to recycle more. You should be told to not dump it into the sea, because in the Pacific there is quite a lot of rubbish going around and some animals will eat it.
My message to world leaders are stop deforestation. They cut down trees, which can cause global warming.
And we can use like wind turbines. More renewable resources need to be made.
My message to world leaders is to stop lots of cars going around because it makes the air polluted.
We need to introduce more eco-friendly inventions that might be able to suck pollution out of the air.
I'd say to world leaders for them to remember that it's not their generation who would live through it, it's our generation.
One of the countries worst affected by climate change is Kenya in Africa. Parts of the country have had very little rainfall, which has caused lots of problems for both wildlife and humans.
Joining us on the sofa is Eliane, a conservationist from Kenya, and she's going to COP28 to tell world leaders just how bad the situation is. Well, Eliane, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So to start off, what will you be saying at COP28?
At COP28, I'll basically be talking about how climate change affects children and people in Africa mainly, and also in the global south.
So what do you think needs to be done to tackle the climate crisis?
What I think needs to be done to tackle the climate crisis is, number one, we need to plant trees. That's very important. So the more action we take, the more awareness we spread, and the more things we do in a positive way would really help us.
And do you think world leaders are taking it seriously enough?
We've heard a lot from the world leaders. I think now people want to see a lot. We need to see those actions because the more we talk, the less time we're going to have.
And am I right by saying that you actually got to see the impact that climate change is having on African elephants?
Yes, I have. So, I did a documentary about it and we went to see the elephants that were affected by climate change. It was a beautiful experience. I got to touch elephants for the first time. I got to see how the water holes that they go to are less, and the rivers that, were there, they're not really there anymore.
You're so inspirational. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Next weekend, to coincide with the start of COP28, we'll be showing a special documentary called Save Our Wildlife, instead of our usual FYI.
It includes that report from Eliane about African elephants, and you'll be able to see it on Sky News and Sky Kids On Demand.
Now, here's something that might get you excited. How would you feel about going to school 4 days a week instead of 5?
Well, we did spot something online about this, but is it fake news or fact? We'll let you know later in the programme. Now, after 7 weeks of fighting, there's a tiny glimmer of good news in the war between Israel and the Palestinian militant group Hamas.
A temporary pause in the fighting has been announced to allow 50 women and children being held hostage by Hamas and other groups to be released.
The deal will also allow for more emergency aid to be taken into Gaza and the release of 150 Palestinian people who've been held in Israeli prisons. Most of the fighting has been happening in the Gaza Strip, a small Palestinian territory controlled by Hamas.
The current war began on the 7th of October, after Hamas launched an attack on Israel, killing more than 1,200 people and taking around 240 hostages.
Since then, Israel has been carrying out airstrikes and a ground invasion into Gaza, where Hamas is based.
Israel's goal is to stop Hamas ever being able to carry out attacks on Israel again. But since the start of the war, more than 14,000 Palestinian people are reported to have been killed, including thousands of children.
Many people are calling for a longer ceasefire to stop the loss of life. But Israel says it won't end the war until Hamas are eliminated. It has, though, offered to extend the pause in fighting by 1 day for every 10 hostages that are released by Hamas.
We all know how important breakfast is. Starting the day with a full stomach helps us to concentrate at school, as well as keeping us healthy.
But unfortunately, according to the charity Magic Breakfast, millions of kids are starting their day without an adequate breakfast, and for some kids, none at all.
Maya's been to a school in London to see what an impact this charity's having.
I love egg with toast or bagel because it's something that can fill you up for the rest of the morning.
It's just after 8 in the morning and every kid in this school is getting a free school breakfast.
But why all pupils? I mean, surely some of them can afford their own breakfast, right? Well, children's helplines have said that some students worry about what other people think of them when they get free school meals, and some people have even been bullied for it. So by giving everyone free school meals, it means that everyone is equal.
Have you guys always got free school breakfast here? Or is this a new thing?
No, it's a new thing because we used to just normally crack on with the day by reading, but now we can get bagels or cereal in the morning and we just sit there and read or chat to a friend for a bit.
It's pretty fun because when you come to school usually you'll just sit down and read, and they can come here to play and see friends.
So did you guys ever skip breakfast before school? Were you hungry?
Yeah, I had to skip breakfast because sometimes when I was middle of making it would be super late, and then my mum would have to send me without breakfast.
And teachers have noticed that not eating before school can really affect our learning.
Throughout the day, the hunger builds, affecting their concentration, their focus, and sometimes their behaviour. So not having breakfast, we found, was really having a negative impact all round on children.
Bagel Thursday, 6H!
Yeah! The school day has started and no one is being left out. These guys are starting their lessons with a book and a bagel. And food doesn't just improve hunger and behaviour. One report found that when all children were given free breakfast over the course of a year, they actually did better at school. Pupils made 2 months more progress in reading, writing and maths.
These guys are lucky because while their school offers free school breakfast to all, most schools don't. So campaigners are calling on the government to make it a necessity for all primary school children. So do you think it's fair that you guys have it and some other people don't?
No. And we just need the most energy we can get to focus because breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
We asked the UK government what it's doing to help. It told us it's investing up to £24 million to provide free breakfasts for more than 35,000 school pupils in disadvantaged areas in England.
Scotland said a number of its local authorities are providing some breakfast clubs, and it's working towards making free breakfast available for all children who need them.
Wales say all children can have free breakfasts, but only if local authorities are told by schools that enough parents want them for their children.
And Northern Ireland says 170 of its schools are offering free breakfast clubs.
The UK's favourite dog names have been revealed, but can you guess what they are?
Well, my dog's name's called Scout, but I don't think that's going to be the top of the list.
No, but she's a cutie. The top names for female dogs are Luna and Bella, which also happens to be the name of my dog. Interestingly, Barbie is also becoming really popular. And the top names for male dogs are Milo and Teddy.
Now, many children have to live with one of their parents being in prison.
16-year-old Aaron Scarth from Liverpool has to deal with that. For at least 6 years, he's been fighting for the rights of children all over the globe who have parents in prison. This year, he was nominated for a Children's Peace Prize for all his campaign work, and Braydon has been to meet him.
One reason I love reporting for FYI is because I get to meet some really inspiring people, and today's pretty special because I'm meeting someone that's taken his own experiences and is using them to help others. This is Aaron, and he's one of the 3 nominated to receive the International Children's Peace Prize. And it's all down to him fighting for the rights of kids whose parents are in prison. So what's it like when a parent goes to prison? What was your experience like?
So for me personally, initially, it was very hard. As my dad was locked away, I've had to move school, and relationships have been difficult for me because of that. They all think I'm going to go down the same route he did. So the family is affected quite a lot. It's highly stigmatised to the point where I've lost friendships. I've been bullied and things like that.
Over 300,000 children in the UK have a parent in prison. So what are you campaigning for?
I'm campaigning for children's rights, having an incarcerated parent. And what that entails is, like, when a parent goes to prison, a child's affected quite deeply. So if I can help those children in that situation.
From the age of 12, Aaron started speaking up publicly about his experiences and hopes for change, and people started listening. What motivated you at such a young age?
It's not for me no more, it's for the little kids. I've been through it, I'm out the other end. But what about that little 6-year-old that's going through it or about to go through it? If I can make their life easier, then I'm going to do it, you know what I mean?
So what things have you done as part of this campaign so far?
Like, we've done things with the probation service where we give them advice on how to change their policies and their laws to help benefit not only the family but the offender as well.
We caught up with Aaron at the International Children's Peace Prize ceremony to see how we get on.
I speak to any child with a parent in prison. Please remember, whatever our parents did or didn't do, this does not define us.
Unfortunately, Aaron didn't win, but to have reached the final is an amazing achievement. Instead, the big prize went to 3 Ukrainian girls who created an app to help refugees connect with each other. But Aaron is determined to continue his work.
My next steps are continue to work on individual projects and to just see where things go, and all honesty, try and take this as far as I can. Let's make change. Let's make this world better.
As always, at this time of the year, there's loads of new movies coming out, just in time for Christmas, including a new Disney film called Wish.
It stars the voice of actress Ariana DeBose, and guess who got to go and meet her? Wish follows Asha, who gets more than she bargained for when she wishes upon a star to save the Kingdom of Roses.
And the star answered.
Wow, Disney, you know? You're a Disney princess now. How does that feel?
It's bananas. Like, I was a Disney kid growing up. You know, I watched all the movies, especially the classics. And I love this story.
There is a traitor amongst us. Find Asha.
It's a dead end. We have the same inherent belief system that everyone deserves the possibility of pursuing their dreams, right? Like, someone else should not be making that decision for you. You get to choose.
People give their wishes to me, and I grant the wishes I am sure are good for Roses.
What's a wish that you had when you were younger or now?
At one point, I'd wished to be like a backup dancer for Madonna.
Awesome.
Like, I thought it would have been the coolest thing to do that.
She's in London.
I heard, like, she started her tour.
My
it's
parents
like
went to
amazing.
see her. She's incredible.
I bet that was awesome.
Have you got any voice acting tips for me?
I just walked into it and let myself be really free. If someone had asked me to go in and, I don't know, play a goat, I might would have come up with, okay, ladies! Like,
nice,
you never know, like.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me about the new film, Wish. Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure, thank you.
Nice one, Thomas. Now, how did you get on with this week's fake news or fact?
We told you that some schools are considering reducing the number of school days to just 4 a week.
So, was it fake news or fact? Well, it's actually fact. But don't get too excited, because it's an idea that's being trialled at some schools in Australia, so it won't be happening over here anytime soon.
Well, that's just about it for this week, but we're going to leave you with some pictures of a new world record being set.
Yep, here comes your friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man. In fact, about 1,000 of them. They all gathered in Buenos Aires in Argentina to create a new world record. That's definitely going to be on the World Wide Web. Bye for now.